All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we will be diving into the crypto gaming markets today, as obviously we are seeing a lot of red across the board as far as the dailies, as far as the weeklies, as that, short-lived post-recession pumped was indeed short-lived, and we're kind of seeing the drawbacks of that, and we're coming back down to the realities of the economy from dynamics between the United States, China. And there's just so much boiling down between both of these economies that are going to affect the markets. And, truly, I don't think we're at that bottom, and I don't think we're at those comfort zones. But I'm going to run through some events, through some projects that we're definitely keeping our eye on, such as, let's just say, for an example, Polygon, which has had a lot of news-driven events, which were able to, drive its token from 30 cents up to $1 at one point in this bear market. So we were able to see Polygon really take advantage of a lot of fantastic announcements. So tokens like that we are looking for a little bit of a retracement, we're going to go over those style tokens that we are looking to have at the top of our watch list whenever this plays out, as we see the market go lower, what we are looking to get into. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know we gon' play, but ain't a percent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know we gon' play, but ain't a play. If you get lost, show you the way.
And let's dive right into it. Be sure to like the video if you enjoy the show, if you get value out of the video, as well as subscribe to the channel for videos here every single day on Crypto Banter. Also, shout out to our sponsors, MEXC, one of the leading exchanges for Metaverse gaming and NFT-driven altcoins. There's a link in the description. If you need another option, non-KYC, US-friendly, you can check that out in the description below, as well as Unix, one of the leading Web3 gaming infrastructures in all of crypto gaming. So let's get into the show. As we're seeing red in the market, obviously there is still those catalysts that could prop up the crypto market, like the ETH merge. Even if you've been watching the show, you definitely have seen, my sentiment over the time that the only thing propping up the market at this moment is the Ethereum merge, right? So if it's something that is not that catalyst that can go against all the trends in the market, with the inflation, with the Chinese economy basically crumbling right now, and if you've done research into that, I mean, there's a lot of really bad pillars in the Chinese economy that are not looking good at the moment. So, across the board economically, I don't know how long crypto can just go against the grain given the entirety of the climate. And I've been saying this for quite a while. There was and there is a bit of an opportunity, right? If Ethereum was to continue the momentum upwards towards the merge, but it's definitely feeling like the market is playing catch up to the economic events now. With if we saw it run up, slightly right after we got into an official recession. Obviously, they changed the definition, but who takes that seriously? We're in a recession, and after the recession, the crypto market really shot upward. And I feel like most people had to have thought that was not going to last. That's just something that is very against the grain, and that would be very short-lived. And we saw that play out, at least for the time being. But I do think we will go lower than what we are seeing. And for example, projects that we're looking for those lower prices, the super high quality projects in Web3 gaming specifically, right? So when we're looking at, the widespread scope, and you can when you make out your spreadsheets or however you look at your buckets of and obviously you can invest in DeFi, you can invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, layer ones, layer twos, whatever you choose to get into, but you'll have those Web3 gaming buckets. But within Web3 gaming, you need to divide those buckets, right? You need to have blockchains. You need to have studios. You need to have I would say studios and distribution. You need to have actual, some games in your site that you're looking at that are very quality and, that you're really looking into. And once you have those buckets of like real infrastructure, right? Real infrastructure, blockchains, NFT integrations, smart NFTs, studios, distribution platforms, on and on. There's so many things that have legitimate long-term value and utility in the space. And Polygon's definitely one of those. We saw Polygon with a lot of news-driven events that have taken it. If we look at the 3-month, right, we would see it down here at 33 cents. We're now at 89 cents. Obviously, not the time to be aping in or buying into any of these tokens with this market climate anyway. But with how far Polygon has ran, definitely with emphasis, it's not the time to be buying into Polygon at this very moment. After we saw the Disney news really carry a lot of momentum and a lot of positive news. Ryan Wyatt, coming on board from YouTube Gaming, bringing a lot of momentum. Dr. Disrespect's game coming to the platform. We also saw just today, Web3 Venture Studio, Super Layer, announces a $25 million fund led by Polygon. The funding will be used to expand the unique operating model, invest in new projects, and build premium Web3 products for rapid mass adoptions. This is direct from Polygon Studios. As well, about 9 hours ago, they announced a strategic blockchain gaming partnership with Unix Gaming, as we see here, driving forward a shared vision of bringing quality entertainment and gaming to the blockchain, elevating the user experience front and center. And when you take a look at their entire scope of partners, really hard to ignore the quality that MATIC is bringing to the table. Disney, Stripe, Reddit, DraftKings. That'll be super interesting to see where that goes, right? If they tap into that industry, and crypto's a massive industry, but one thing that's also huge, DraftKings wouldn't like us calling it this, but DraftKings is gambling. They also have sports betting on their platform, right? So, a gambling platform bringing blockchain integration, one of the biggest industries dollar-wise in the world. I know we talked about this, in the fall whenever D-Race and Pegaxi were coming up. Those type of games that really have that aspect behind them, like a risk-win type of factor, like the DraftKings, FanDuels, etc. So that's a pretty interesting one to see how that will play out. But there's even more partners in this, right? Meta, Disney, we're looking at these. You have Dr. Disrespect's game, and the list of games goes on that are coming to Polygon. So definitely one that I'm hoping that we see some lower prices so that whenever we begin DCAing into, the Polygons and, those high quality tokens for the long haul, that we're going to get the best prices on the top projects. And Polygon is definitely at the top of that list. One more project that had a little bit of news today with the Season 3 Alpha coming out. The Alpha events have been very great for Sandbox. They've been very fun and community driven. There's rewards on the line. And I think that as far as a metaverse right now, this is the project to be looking at in the metaverse as far as those top tier tokens. Like at the top of the line of metaverse at the moment stands the Sandbox. It's undisputed, and the reason it's undisputed is the level of partners that are coming in there. Walking Dead, you have Snoop Dogg, you have all the brands like Adidas, Atari, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I mean, I could go on and on. If like the list goes, they just landed Playboy, and then as we see today with their Alpha Season 3, you'll be able to travel the virtual map, meet a diversity of different brands, as we just mentioned, a lot of different brands that are already in the Sandbox. And the reason they're also the leader is that brands look at the Sandbox first, right? This is the metaverse that everyone feels like they need to advertise in, they need to get behind, etc. So definitely Sandbox is near the top of that list. And if it can get closer to $1 again, I believe it's at $1.20, And yes, Sandbox, this actually goes right together with Polygon. Sandbox is now on Polygon. So, very, very good integration there, as we're going to see season 3 of the alpha go live August 24th, and it is free for all. So free for everyone. You can play, you can level up, compete on the leaderboard, and earn sand token rewards. And as far as the sand token, one of those that's on the top of my list that I'm really waiting for this all to play out. I know sometimes when we're watching, different shows on the channel, Rand, Kyle, Sheldon, Miles, whoever's giving the analysis, myself, sometimes, it takes a long time for these things to play out, right? And it might be a broken record to some extent sometimes when I keep saying like I'm waiting for lower, but I really am. And at this point, I'm just sitting on my hands. I'm accumulating stables, right? I'm accumulating a lot of stables. I have continued all along. My DCAs in Bitcoin, Ethereum. I do love just stacking those and having a reserve of those at all times, for example. But as far as the other tokens across the market, it's definitely after last bull run, you have to de-risk. You get a lot into stables. You accumulate those stables, and this is just my strategy. And I think it's great that everyone has their own strategy coming into it, and what they plan to do when they deploy into the market. And then obviously, more projects that I've talked about quite a bit. GALA, we started DCAing into GALA actually in this market around 5 cents. So now it's still about 20% up here from 5 to 6 cents as we're looking at GALA right now. So obviously that is a solid gain for a bear, like in a bear market. Any sort of 20% gainer that you can find in this type of a market is always solid. So we DCA'd here at 5 cents, very strong, and one that you can take a little bit of profits off the table, but until we see further clarity on just where we're going from here, you could play that yourself. I'm not a financial advisor whatsoever, but at a 20% profit in this market, it might be ideal to at least take a look, especially given the overall market that we're starting to see play out, at de-risking potentially a little bit. But if you have that long-term scope, GALA is that Activision, that Riot Games, Epic Games of the blockchain. So you're really actually banking on the longevity of the platform when you're looking at something like GALA with all the games, film, music, etc. Another one that obviously I'm really looking into accumulating, and these are where the market caps for growth get really, really juicy. And this is Ultra. We're talking about Vulcan Forged. Especially when the market turns around, CeDeFi is going to get really hot when IGOs come back around. So that's going to be a fantastic accumulation. Even if you can't do the IGOs, that'll be a fantastic accumulation in like an upcoming and a rising market, because then projects are going to start launching their initial gaming offerings, and they're going to start launching on the launchpad, and people will start heavily accumulating. CeDeFi, once again, for example, as we're seeing CeDeFi $16 all-time high, and that was at the height of the bull run. They were launching projects almost every other day, and launchpads were hot at that time. Gaming launches were very hot, and I think we'll see that play out again. I think crypto gaming and Metaverse is a multi-decade opportunity, guys. And the real bottom line here is the fact that, you don't have to, it's not going to be tomorrow that this plays out. It's not going to be next month that this plays out. You need to have a long-term approach, and you need to be comfortable in sitting on your hands sometimes. And you also need to be comfortable whenever you do choose to start accumulating, that you do have that long-term vision. If you get into those quality projects and you do have a strategy, you're going to be able to play this market very well for years to come, right? For me, it's accumulate blue chips, blue chips, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and layer ones, as well as top crypto gaming tokens, because that's where the explosive growth is going to be over time, right? I feel like that will be the biggest emerging sector, especially as far as industry growth, market caps, explosive, right? This is going to be one of the most explosive industries that we have seen hit crypto in a long time. It already was, right, last fall. And I think it will happen again when more mainstream adoption comes into the game and as more quality games hit the market, more quality platforms like GALA, Ultra, etc. have all their games live on their platforms. I think it's really going to take a step up for the entire industry, and it's definitely something I'm looking forward to in the future. Last thing really quickly, I wanted to, give a shout out to one of right now my favorite first-person shooter, I would say, on the blockchain at the moment that's active, which is Undead Blocks. Over 14 million zombies killed in their last tournament. Player count increased by 60%. It was a $10,000 tournament. This was their third tournament. They've given away $40,000 in this bear market. They've had two $10,000 tournaments and a $20,000 tournament. So as we see here, a lot of these have been sponsored. One was by GenBlock Capital. One was by Polka Starter Gaming. And they have generated 1.1 million ad impressions for the sponsor here, GenBlock Capital. So this is a sponsorship revenue-driven model that actually has 1.1 million ad impressions for the sponsor. This is brilliant. And I wanted to shout that out because that model is sustainable. A revenue-driven sponsorship model where you're actually providing value for the sponsor, ad impressions, as we see here, 68,000 total stream views just this last weekend on Undead Blocks tournament. So fantastic work by Undead Blocks, in my opinion. And also they partnered up with Immutable here. As we see here, Immutable, we're partnering with Wagyu Games, which powers Undead Blocks on ETH L2. Undead has 25K plus downloads, 2.7K weapon loadout NFTs in their mobile zombie universe, and their partnership will expand their mission to put players first with true asset ownership. So that's going to be awesome to see. Guys, as always, tread with caution in these markets. Always have your lists, your watch lists ready. Have those alerts, those buy levels, right? Have some price alerts set on your phone that if it gets to those levels, really start considering, deploying your strategy. But above else, have a strategy, have a bucket of tokens, have a spreadsheet of some sort or some sort of way to divide up the sectors of your portfolio and, the risk amount of each. High risk, low risk style investments. Is it a platform? Is it a game? Is it, a studio? I think that's all very important in success long-term in this industry, is understanding what you're investing in and the timing, and also the time in the market. How long is your approach? Short, mid, long-term, etc. So that's what I would take out of this video. And always keep the quality projects first, because the market and the money will trickle down from top to bottom. So as always, guys, like the video if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for shows here every single day on Crypto Banter. I will be back tomorrow with an awesome interview. A fantastic interview tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Friday's show, it'll be live in the afternoon here, EST, Eastern Standard Time. As always, play well, my friends.